What happens to you while you sleep? Your body rests, but your consciousness travels and your mind stays fully active. Where does it go? Very few people know the answer, but over the centuries, spiritual traditions and scientific research have been shedding light on this mystery. What I'm about to reveal to you could change your perspective on sleep and the very nature of consciousness forever. If you've ever had a dream so real it felt like another life, share it in the comments. These experiences can reveal a lot about the mysteries of consciousness. Sleep has always been a puzzle for humanity. Since ancient times, cultures around the world believed that when we sleep, the soul detaches from the body and travels to other realms. In ancient Egypt, dreams were seen as messages from the gods. In Greece, philosophers like Plato spoke of the soul accessing higher realities during rest. Today we know that sleep is essential for the brain and memory to function, but there's something much deeper happening. During certain stages of sleep, brain activity behaves similarly to deep meditation states and even near-death experiences. Studies show that in this state, our perception of time and reality completely changes. But here's the thing. If consciousness were just a product of the brain, why do so many people report lucid experiences, spiritual encounters, and visions that defy logic during sleep? Are they just illusions? Or is something real happening? The answer may lie in a phenomenon few people know about: the journey of consciousness. The detachment from the physical body is a fascinating process that happens every night, but few people truly realize what's going on. When you sleep, your body enters a deep, resting state. Your brain frequency slows down, and your perception of the physical world dissolves. But does that mean your consciousness also shuts off? The answer is no. In fact, while your body rests, your mind remains active, operating on levels that science is still struggling to understand. During sleep, we go through different stages, and it's in the REM, rapid eye movement state, that the most vivid dreams and the most intriguing experiences happen. But there's something beyond that. Research from the Monroe Institute and scientists like Dr. Charles Tart suggests that in this state, consciousness can literally detach from the physical body and access other dimensions of reality. This phenomenon is known as astral projection or out-of-body experience, OBE. But why don't most people notice this? The explanation may lie in how we've been conditioned to view reality. From a young age, we're taught that what can't be measured or touched doesn't exist. However, those who've experienced out-of-body experiences report an indescribable sense of freedom, an expanded perception of the universe, and even the ability to visit places they've never been before. There are documented accounts of people who, upon entering this state, were able to describe events and locations far from where their physical bodies were. One of the most well-known cases is that of researcher Robert Monroe, who dedicated his life to studying the projection of consciousness and wrote books detailing his experiences in non-physical realms. And there's one crucial detail. Your emotional and mental state before going to sleep can directly influence where your consciousness goes during sleep. If you fall asleep feeling worried or fearful, you might end up accessing denser levels of the dream experience. On the other hand, if you sleep with a clear intention and a high vibration, you may open yourself up to spiritual experiences and profound teachings. So, next time you're about to sleep, try something different. Before closing your eyes, set a clear intention. Tell yourself, I want to remember what my consciousness experiences tonight. This simple practice can open doors to surprising discoveries about your own nature. Have you ever heard about making suggestions before sleep? Few people know this, but the moments before sleep are a powerful opportunity to program the subconscious mind and direct your consciousness toward specific experiences. In the moments leading up to sleep, your brain enters a state known as the hypnagogic phase, a threshold between wakefulness and the world of dreams. In this state, your mind is extremely receptive to suggestions. Great geniuses in history, like Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla, used this technique to gain revolutionary insights. They would often fall asleep with questions on their minds, and upon waking, they frequently had the answers they were looking for. But how can you use this to your advantage? Simple. Before going to sleep, tell your brain exactly what you want. For example, I want to wake up feeling refreshed and full of energy. May my mind find new ideas for my professional life. Show me ways to generate more financial abundance. Help me solve this problem while I sleep. Allow me to remember my dreams clearly upon waking. These suggestions work directly on the subconscious, which in turn works tirelessly during sleep to find answers and solutions. Often, you may wake up with a sudden idea, a sense of clarity, or even a symbolic dream that reveals what you need to know. Moreover, this technique can be combined with the intention of having spiritual experiences during sleep. People who practice astral projection, for example, often repeat phrases before sleep like, "Tonight, I will be conscious in the astral world," or, "I want to remember everything my consciousness experiences outside the body." With repetition and practice, many of them report lucid dreams, spiritual encounters, and even consciousness-expanding experiences. While the physical body remains still in bed, your mind can cross boundaries that conventional science still doesn't fully understand. Where exactly does your consciousness go? The answer depends on several factors, such as your level of perception, your emotional state, and even the intention you set before going to sleep. Some people report intensely vivid dreams, others experience what we call lucid dreams, and there are those who describe the sensation of floating outside their body, observing the world from a completely different perspective. Curiously, similar experiences have also been described by mystics, Buddhist monks, and even by people who have gone through near-death experiences, NDEs. Many claim that when leaving the body, they are able to access places that defy three-dimensional logic. Some talk about cities of light, others report encounters with spiritual guides, and there are even those who describe dimensions where time and space operate in completely different ways. But how can you tell if your consciousness is truly traveling or if it's just a regular dream? There are some intriguing pieces of evidence. Accounts of people who, after having an out-of-body experience, were able to accurately describe details of places they had never been physically, are a strong indication that something very real is happening. Additionally, quantum physics suggests that consciousness may not be restricted to the brain. Neurosurgeon Dr. Eben Alexander, after undergoing a deep NDE, stated that his experience on the other side was more real than his waking life. This leads us to the question, do we access parallel realities during sleep, higher dimensions, or just fragments of our own mind? The answer might lie in dreams. Many of them are not mere creations of the brain, but rather records of our journeys through the cosmos. Before we continue, I want to know if you're interested in learning more about parallel realities. If you are, leave a comment saying, "I want to know more about parallel realities." This way, we can bring you an exclusive video revealing the mysteries of these hidden worlds and how your consciousness can access them. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications so you won't miss anything. Dreams as messages from the unconscious have always been a mystery studied by different cultures and spiritual traditions. For Freud, dreams were expressions of the unconscious, revealing repressed desires. Carl Jung, on the other hand, saw dreams as a portal to the collective unconscious, where universal symbols and archetypes manifest to guide our personal journey. Many people report dreams that feel like true out-of-body experiences, encounters with spiritual entities, or glimpses of the future. These dreams, called lucid dreams, are those in which the person realizes they are dreaming, and in some cases, can consciously interact with the environment. Spiritual traditions suggest that, during sleep, our consciousness may travel through different planes of existence. In shamanism, for example, dreams are seen as spiritual journeys, where the soul can receive teachings from guides or access hidden information. Some Buddhist traditions teach that dreams can be used as training for death, helping the soul navigate spiritual realms after leaving the physical body. And there's something even more surprising. Some people report having had the same dream as a friend or family member on the same night. How is this possible? Could it be an indication that our consciousness can actually interact with others while we sleep? This happens because, during sleep, our consciousness isn't isolated within the brain. It can connect to a larger field of information. Quantum physics suggests that everything in the universe is interconnected through the unified field, a deep level of reality where the separation between individual minds disappears. If thoughts and emotions have specific frequencies, it's possible that two people can tune into the same frequency while they sleep, accessing the same dreamscapes. Additionally, the collective unconscious, a concept proposed by Carl Jung, suggests that we share a vast reservoir of symbols, memories, and archetypes. This would explain why people around the world report similar dreams, even without ever having met. In deep sleep states, our minds can access this universal database, allowing shared dreams to happen. There are also accounts of joint spiritual experiences, where two or more people claim to have interacted in the same dream environment, and upon waking, describe identical details. This suggests that, while we sleep, we can access subtle dimensions of reality, where our consciousness is no longer limited by the physical body. But not all dreams are random or mere repetitions of the day. There are those that carry important messages, signs from the universe, and even premonitions. Many people have reported dreaming about something that later happened in reality. This happens because, in the sleep state, our minds are not restricted by the rules of physical reality. In the waking world, we are stuck in a linear timeline. Past, present, and future seem like fixed sequences. But when we dream, our consciousness can operate in a reality where time is malleable, accessing information beyond common perception. Physicist John Wheeler, for example, proposed that the past can be influenced by the future in quantum mechanics experiments. If this happens on a subatomic level, could it be that our minds, when disconnected from the constraints of the body, can also access information about what's yet to come? Many scientists and researchers have investigated so-called precognitive dreams. One famous case is that of Abraham Lincoln, who dreamed of his own death days before being assassinated. Another well-documented example is of people who dreamed about disasters before they happened, like the Titanic sinking or the 9/11 attacks. Carl Jung called this phenomenon synchronicity, suggesting that there are connections between events that can't be explained by mere chance. If time works differently in the realm of consciousness, then it's possible that, when we dream, we are accessing subtle patterns of what's to come, a kind of memory of the future. But how can we differentiate a regular dream from a precognitive dream? The key lies in the intensity and clarity. Precognitive dreams tend to be very vivid, with specific details and a strong sense of reality. Many people who've had this type of experience report waking up with a deep feeling that what they saw wasn't just a dream. If this is true, it means that, while we sleep, we have the ability to connect to something greater, a universal consciousness where all possibilities already exist. There are different types of dreams, and each one carries a specific meaning: symbolic dreams. They express messages from the subconscious through metaphors and images. For example, dreaming of a house may represent your internal emotional state. Precognitive dreams. They contain glimpses of the future, accessing information beyond linear time. Many people have dreamed about events before they happened. Lucid dreams. These are the ones where you realize you're dreaming and can consciously interact with the environment, even changing the storyline of the dream. Spiritual dreams. These may involve encounters with guides, divine messages, or out-of-body experiences. But how can we properly interpret our dreams? The key lies in attention and intention. If you want to remember and better understand your dreams, start practicing dream journaling, writing down everything you remember as soon as you wake up. Often, patterns and messages begin to emerge over time. The astral plane and its different dimensions are one of the most intriguing aspects of sleep. The concept of the astral plane is widely studied in esoteric schools like Hermeticism, Theosophy, and Spiritism. According to these traditions, the astral is an intermediate level of existence where thoughts and emotions take form. It's a highly malleable dimension where reality can instantly shift according to the vibration and intention of the consciousness accessing it. Accounts from people who have had out-of-body experiences during sleep often describe different layers of this plane. Some of these dimensions are bright and peaceful, full of learning and encounters with benevolent beings. Others are chaotic and dense, reflecting states of fear, anxiety, and confusion. This proves that the frequency of our vibration before sleep can directly influence the type of astral experience we'll have. Many spiritual researchers classify these dimensions into 3 levels: lower astral plane, related to dense energies and manifestations of fear, guilt, and emotional imbalance. Some people describe this level as a dark and heavy environment. Middle astral plane, the most commonly accessed during sleep. Here, conventional dreams occur, and interactions with projections from the subconscious mind take place. Higher astral plane, associated with elevated states of consciousness, where encounters with spiritual mentors, learning, and experiences of profound mental expansion occur. Studies on astral projection report that while sleeping, some people access these planes spontaneously, while others can consciously train to access them through specific techniques like lucid dreaming induction or mindfulness practices before sleep. Spiritual encounters during sleep are one of the most mysterious and transformative experiences that can occur while we're asleep. Many people report meeting light beings, spiritual mentors, deceased loved ones, and even living people. But is this just a creation of the mind, or are we actually interacting with other consciousnesses? The answer may lie in the nature of the astral plane. As we've seen, this dimension is highly malleable and responds directly to our intentions and vibrational frequencies. If during sleep, our consciousness partially frees itself from physical limitations, it wouldn't be impossible for real spiritual encounters to happen. Many reports indicate that these encounters happen spontaneously, but they can also be intentional. People who have lost loved ones often dream about them vividly, feeling a real presence and receiving messages that, upon waking, make sense and bring comfort. For some, this may just be a simple psychological mechanism for grief, but there are impressive cases where messages and unknown details are revealed in these encounters, suggesting the experience was real. Another common type of spiritual encounter involves learning sessions. Some esoteric traditions claim that while we sleep, we can be taken to actual spiritual schools, where we receive teachings about evolution, consciousness, and the universe. There are accounts of people who, upon waking, remember concepts and information they had never studied before. But when they research, they discover that these are deep teachings found in sacred texts or ancient traditions. But how can we have more control over these encounters? As we've mentioned and taught you here, with suggestions. Tell yourself clearly, tonight I want to meet my spiritual guide, and remember this experience when I wake up. With your notebook beside you, wake up and write everything down. Nightmares are one of the most intriguing phenomena of sleep, and their origin goes far beyond just a simple reflection of daily stress. Often they serve as symbolic messages from the unconscious, emotional alerts, or even experiences in denser dimensions of the astral reality. But why do they happen? And can we control them? Studies in neuroscience show that the brain continues processing emotions while we sleep, organizing memories and trying to make sense of what we feel. The threat simulation theory, proposed by researcher Antti Revonsuo, suggests that nightmares are a natural brain mechanism to prepare us for real-life challenges and threats. But on a deeper level, this may also mean that we are tuning into vibrational realities that match our inner state. Nightmares mostly occur during the REM phase of sleep, when the brain is highly active and processing memories and emotions. Psychologists like Sigmund Freud believed nightmares were repressed expressions of fears and traumas from the unconscious, while Carl Jung saw them as the manifestation of deep archetypes within the human psyche. Studies show that people who undergo traumatic events, like loss, extreme stress, or anxiety, tend to have more nightmares. This happens because the brain tries to reorganize emotions and find a way to process difficult experiences. However, not all nightmares have a direct psychological cause. Some seem to emerge from mysterious sources. If nightmares are, in a way, a reflection of the emotional and energetic state before sleep, then we can take steps to avoid negative experiences and transform sleep into a time of learning and expansion. Some techniques include energy cleansing before sleep. Practices like burning sage, incense, or visualizing light around your body help create a more protected environment for sleep. Mental reprogramming techniques, replacing negative thoughts before bed with affirmations like, "I sleep in peace and protection," can completely change your experience. Avoid heavy and stimulating foods at night. Alcohol, caffeine, and heavy meals can interfere with sleep quality and increase the chances of nightmares. Write down and interpret nightmares. Often, they carry valuable messages from the subconscious. Writing down the details can help identify patterns and hidden meanings. Develop awareness in dreams. Lucid dreaming. Learning to recognize when you are dreaming can allow you to face the nightmare and even transform the experience into something positive. Although most people want to avoid nightmares, some spiritual traditions teach that they can be opportunities for learning. If a nightmare is recurring, it might be trying to teach you something. In some astral projection schools, practitioners train to stay calm within a nightmare and face it consciously. Often they discover that the monster in the dream is actually a repressed part of themselves, asking to be integrated. If we can understand and reinterpret nightmares, we can transform fear into self-knowledge and growth. Why do we forget our dreams? Most people forget their dreams because, upon waking, the brain quickly shifts its focus to physical reality. During sleep, especially in the REM phase, the brain operates differently, accessing memories and creating symbolic narratives. When we wake up, the rational mind takes over and discards this information as irrelevant. Another reason dreams are forgotten is the lack of dream memory training. Like any other skill, the ability to remember dreams can be developed with practice. As we mentioned earlier, keeping a notebook by your bed and writing down everything you remember as soon as you wake up helps strengthen dream memory. Even if at first it's just fragments, over time, the details become clearer. Not moving immediately upon waking can also help, as the first few seconds after waking are crucial for remembering dreams. Remaining still and trying to reconstruct the images before getting up can make a big difference. Reduce stimuli before bed. Excess screen time, blue light, and information overload before sleep can hinder dream retention. A peaceful environment promotes recall. The dangers and challenges of the dream world are aspects that are often overlooked when talking about dreams and astral projections. While sleep can be a rewarding experience full of learning, there are also obstacles that can arise when exploring consciousness during this state. From recurring nightmares to encounters with unknown entities, it's essential to understand these challenges to navigate the dream universe safely. Sleep paralysis is a phenomenon that can be quite frightening. It occurs when a person partially wakes up but can't move, feeling a pressure on the chest and, in some cases, perceiving dark presences around them. Scientifically, sleep paralysis happens when the brain wakes up before the body, temporarily keeping the muscles locked to prevent movement during dreaming. However, some spiritual traditions suggest that this state can occur when consciousness suddenly returns from an astral experience, causing a momentary perception of parallel dimensions. If you experience this, the most important thing is to stay calm. Focus on your breathing. Try to slowly move your fingers, and remember that it's temporary. Many people use this state as a portal for conscious experiences, turning sleep paralysis into an opportunity for astral projection. Another challenge in the dream world is encounters with unknown entities. Some people report dreaming of beings that seem more than just creations of the mind. These entities can be friendly, neutral, or even disturbing. But what are they? Many experts believe these figures are symbolic manifestations of the mind, reflecting repressed parts of the psyche. Some spiritual traditions claim that, when we dream, we can interact with consciousnesses that inhabit subtle dimensions, such as spiritual guides or disembodied spirits. Intense emotions can create energy forms that temporarily take shape in dreams. The golden rule in these encounters is not to give in to fear. Fear can strengthen the presence of these entities and attract denser experiences. If you feel you're in a negative environment, practice energy protection techniques before sleep, like visualizing a light field around your body. Another issue some people face is excessive activity in dreams. When consciousness becomes too active in the dream world, some people wake up feeling mentally exhausted, as if they lived a second life while they slept. This can happen when there is a lot of emotional processing going on, or when there are many intense experiences during the night. To balance this, it's important to develop techniques for grounding energy upon waking. Practices like drinking a glass of water, walking barefoot on the earth, or taking a bath help reconnect you to your physical body. If you want to navigate the dream world safely, here are 2 practices that will help. Create a ritual before sleep. Meditation, prayer, or visualizing light can help protect your energy before entering the dream state. Avoid negative content before sleep. Horror movies, violent news, and arguments can influence your dreams. Sleep is much more than just a state of rest. It's a gateway to hidden dimensions of consciousness, a laboratory of the unconscious, and a powerful tool for spiritual evolution. Everything we experience while we sleep, from the most trivial dreams to the most intense astral projections, carries valuable messages about our mind, our energy, and our life's purpose. Now you know that your emotional state directly influences your nightly experiences, that it's possible to program your mind to receive answers, and that even nightmares can be learning opportunities. Through techniques like dream journaling, lucid dreaming induction, and energy preparation before sleep, you can transform sleep into a period of consciousness expansion and self-discovery. If there's one thing that's clear after all of this, it's that you're never just out cold during the night. What about you? Have you ever had any inexplicable experiences during sleep? Lucid dreams, spiritual encounters, or sensations of leaving your body? Share in the comments, because your story could help others better understand this invisible universe. And if you'd like a video diving deeper into one of the topics mentioned here, leave your suggestion as well. And if you want to take your mind to the next level in the Quantum Thinking 21-Day Challenge, you'll learn how to reprogram your consciousness and access new possibilities. Check it out in the first pinned comment, and see you in the next video.